So let's just take Atlanta, right? Atlanta is hot on the outbound, but look at these other locations that are very loose, very cold. Now, if you take that juicy load from Atlanta and you go to Denver, Denver isn't necessarily going to pay that much. You would actually probably make more money. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on it. You would definitely make more money if you were using that outbound Atlanta market and you hop over here to this Opelika, Alabama. And having been out there, I'm almost certain that Opelika area, that's where Walmart is. So that means Walmart is picking up. So that would be a shipper. Now that's just free game. I'm just gave you a free game right there. This area right here where it's hot, it's Opelika. But guess who's right up in there? There's a shipper right up in there. Montgomery, and that would be Walmart. Walmart has got a lot of business going on down that way. So I'm pretty sure they're bringing in a lot of reefers. Now you see how you could go from a, a hot Atlanta market, and Atlanta is still yellow. So you could go from a hot Atlanta market down here to inbound Montgomery market, right? Now this is if you're in the spot market or if you want to negotiate rates on a contract. And it's still tight. Now you say, okay, you're looking for a back call, you go from Montgomery, right? So Montgomery is yellow, which means you want to be understand that. So you hot to a hot market that's inbound. So you're getting a great rate because if Atlanta is red on the outbound and Alabama is red on the inbound, that means you can be on the high end and press your rate. And you have a greater chance of being successful booking that load for $6 a mile and asking. That's when it may be appropriate to ask for an astronomical rate on your load. Is when you're dealing with those type of market conditions. And see, that's how we make money with dispatch, right? Another market you could look over and see Fort Worth is doing well. Orlando is calling for trucks. Florida, you always know you got to be careful with Florida, right? Because they're iffy and kind of wishy washy there. So Orlando is hot. You could definitely get some freight out of Dallas and Fort Worth is hot on the outbound. So if you were to go from Atlanta with your reefer on the outbound, you can see that they're calling for it in Fort Worth. If you were to deliver in Fort Worth and then turned around, you would have the confidence to know that, hey, on the outbound side, it's very tight. So now I could get a good load. I could be on the high end with my negotiations from Atlanta to Dallas or Fort Worth, right? And then once I get to Fort Worth, I'll have better odds. Now, and I could press on that. And because the Dallas DFW is hot on the outbound as well, you can actually look at that and consider, okay, where could I go from there going back to Atlanta? Now, is Atlanta hot on the outbound? No, it's not. So you're not going to get the same on the backhaul. But if you were to go from, let's just say, Fort Worth to Montgomery, you may see a better rate there. You may be able to get a better rate if you go Atlanta to Dallas, Fort Worth, and then use the outbound Dallas Fort Worth to go to Alabama. And if you could pull that off, you may see yourself making quite a bit more money than if you were to actually take a load from Atlanta on the outbound and go to Nebraska or wherever that might be. Even though the number might look good going that way, you would end up suffering in the long term because of that. So we would want to try to avoid that. Um, what else we got here? So we got that. We covered that. You also got to look at the surrounding areas. right? The surrounding markets also influence it. So even though Alabama, let's say Alabama is hot, but you know they're going to leverage the fact that the surrounding markets aren't that great. So the surrounding markets can suppress how much you can actually get here, because what that means is you might have a guy in Jacksonville. Let's just be honest. It happens. What this looks like is somebody from Jacksonville may deadhead up here to get that load. Somebody from the north of Florida, like what's that beach in Florida at the top? I can't remember the name. It's a famous beach in North Florida. But anyway, everybody goes there. It's a great beach. But they might deadhead from there all the way up here, or southern Georgia, they'll deadhead up here to get it. So you got to watch out for that and keep that in consideration when you're negotiating for the best rate. And so that'll keep you with the competitive edge. And I get it, it's a lot to be considering. But that's what prime time is here to do for you. You just come here, we'll take all of that into consideration, we'll network with you, and we'll figure it out, and we'll get you the best load. That way you don't end up out there looking crazy and being like, man, because you shouldn't be losing in a good market. And as the market heats up toward the summertime, you're going to see more and more opportunities come available. You just got to be able to maximize these opportunities and uh, get yourself in position to go ahead and get it. So I hope everyone has learned something today. You've been informed a little bit. Uh, look forward to growing the community and building relationships and getting people the ability to see some of this Trucker Buddy software in real time. And like I say, man, I think I want to do a leader. I really want to do a leaderboard, right? So we can see who crushing it, like who getting the bag, who getting to it, and we keep track of it. That way, all you're doing is running and running your load, and boom, we'll figure out who getting to it, and we'll do it without losing productivity because we'll let the AI run. We'll let AI run the load basically. Brokers will be able to get their tracking and lumper receipts, check calls, and stuff like that. So they'll be cool. And you don't necessarily have to worry about it too much. And we can just run a leaderboard and figure out what we want to do. But it's been great. I'm gonna cut the live here and I look forward to doing more every day, 10 a.m.